Hi, I'm Tom Savini, and you're watching Bump in the Night TV.
Hey there, I am JB here with go ahead.
Chuck Nasty.
yeah. And we're your hosts of Tales from the Podcast and 2G1C, here to talk about our 10 favorite werewolf movies. Or at least give us our top 10, if you will. Maybe with a couple honorable mentions, but we'll get to that here in a second.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and jump right into this shit, man. Number 10, probably one of my favorite childhood werewolf movies, Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. A fun kind of werewolf movie done in a Scooby-Doo fashion, where Shaggy is turning into a werewolf and there's like a Dracula like race going on. It is just crazy. It really is.
Any Scooby-Doo movie is fun.
Yeah, that is for sure. That is for sure. Why don't you jump into number 9, buddy?
Number 9 is one of my favorites of all time. Is the original Howling. The movie it's one of the weirdest werewolf movies, and you end up getting a whole bunch of a weird franchise out of it when it came on to werewolf movies. But it was one that kind of fucked me up as a kid when I first saw it because it was so dark.
Yeah, I agree. I will say that none of the ones after Howling number 1 were as good as the first one.
Not really, and the way that the werewolf turned into the werewolf was always pretty cool to me when they actually showed the changing scenes. That's the important thing about werewolf movies, and I appreciate the Howling for how they did that.
Right. All right, let's go ahead and keep it going. After number 9, we got our number 8 movie, Dog Soldiers. I mean, what can you really say about this one? It's an all-around really fucking good werewolf movie. A little bit more action than some of the others.
Yeah, it's a little more action-packed. It's a bunch of kids in boot camp that are against each other, basically, and one side are werewolves.
But still a really good movie.
It's a fun one. It's a fun one for sure.
Right, definitely. Talking about fun ones, though, why don't you jump into our number 7 werewolf movie?
Number 7 is one that I always enjoyed as a kid, and even to this day still love it. Old Michael J. Fox, Teen Wolf. Fun film, not really scary. It makes it okay to be a werewolf, and it's such a weird movie, but it's a fun one, and one of the greatest comedies of all time, in my opinion.
I agree. And just like Howling, the sequels were really bad. Well, the sequel was really bad
with Jason Bateman.
Yes, but the first one, Michael J. Fox, I mean,
classic.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I would say a good Halloween family movie. Just spooky enough without it being too bad for the little ones.
Maybe if it's a family that has a kid that might be 12 years or older, just because there is some kind of subject matter throughout.
Well, I mean, yeah,
but it's a more family-oriented movie than most of these movies.
Yeah, for sure. So going ahead and keeping this list going, at our number 6 spot, we got Ginger Snaps.
Oh yeah.
All I can really say about this one is it is a werewolf movie, unlike any that came out at the time. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I personally enjoyed it. It's like what would you consider it, like a female coming of age as a werewolf movie?
Pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It was a different take on the werewolf because you never really saw a werewolf being a female. And in this case, you have a girl at probably her most delicate time of her life, also having to deal with the changes of being a werewolf. It's a lot to take in. It's a fucking classic. Yeah.
It is a really good movie, though. I had a lot of fun the first time I saw it. Surprise, a few scenes, but I still had a lot of fun the first time I saw that one.
Yeah.
Do you have thick facial hair that's hard to shave? Do you have tufts of unwanted hair on your neck, shoulders, and back? Are you a werewolf? Well, your problems are solved thanks to the new body mower from Hicklepeck Industries. Most razors have only 3 blades, but the Hicklepeck body mower has an unprecedented 54, and it's easy to clean. Order now and you'll also receive this nose and ear trimmer, this motorized nail file, and this juicy ham bone. But wait, there's more! Call in the next 10 seconds and we'll throw in this industrial strength wax absolutely free! Never let the full moon be an embarrassment again. Order Hicklepeck Body Mower now!
All right, why don't you jump into our number 5, buddy?
Number 5 is a weird one, but it's a fun one as well. Is Wolf Cop. I mean, honestly, yeah, it's a little ridiculous. And when you first hear a movie like called Wolf Cop, it kind of throws you off, or it either makes you like really curious. And I finally gave in and watched this movie. And this movie's pretty funny. The premise of it's pretty interesting. Like it's what it is. It's a cop that's a werewolf.
Right. And unlike Teen Wolf and Howling, the sequel to this is just as good. It's still a lot of fun.
I have not had a chance to watch the sequel yet, but I do need to watch it.
Oh, dude, yeah. You definitely do. It's a great one. I actually really, really like this movie.
This is the graphic novel. This is the graphic novel I always wanted to see, but instead I got a movie instead. So
didn't you get lucky?
Yeah.
So I love it though. I truly, truly love this one. Continuing this on our werewolf journey, our number 4 movie, Bad Moon. I mean, I'm trying to think of like the best way to describe this one, because this one is, to me, it's just like
dog versus werewolf.
Yeah, it's
that's pretty much what it comes down to.
It is, I say this definitely has more werewolf elements in it than some of the other films on the list.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still a really fucking good movie.
And it's a fun werewolf movie for sure. I've always enjoyed this one, and we were talking before we got on here. I always loved this image. It just always looked cool to me. And I found a shirt, found a shirt or found a poster of it, because I've always thought that was like one of the coolest like werewolf covers.
Well, I mean, that's fair. I mean, it's up there. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, why don't you go ahead and jump into our number 3?
Oh shit. Number 3 is the Wolfman from the 1941. The one we all know and love. This is one when my dad started showing me Universal monster movies when I was a kid. This was one of the first ones that caught my eye, and I've always loved it to this day. It's one of my favorites to watch.
There's really no argument to be said there. I mean, when we're talking about werewolves and really jumping into this, I mean, you can't do much without talking about this one, at least at some point. I mean,
oh yeah,
and for those, I mean, it's just a really good one. I mean, there's really nothing bad I can say about this movie. The remake I didn't care for.
No, you're talking about the one with
Benicio.
Yeah, I would have let down. Yeah, no, this is, if you want to watch a Wolfman movie, this one right here, and this one is family friendly. It's It's very, 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 at the time, toned down. It's a good one. It's a classic, and it gets watched in my house a lot.
That makes sense.
Right.
So going ahead and keeping this list going, at our number 2 spot, An American Werewolf in London. Let's just go ahead and be honest. Like, if you're sitting there talking with your friends, you're like, oh, we got, watch a werewolf movie. This is going to pop up. This is definitely hands down one of the best ones. I mean, easily one of the best transformation scenes too.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which,
the gore is there, the violence is there, the whole werewolf element. I mean, there's not a lot that this one doesn't have. American Werewolf in London's definitely a favorite all year round. I love this movie. I mean, anytime I think about going backpacking in another country, I'm like, oh, it might be a bad idea.
Yeah, I love this movie a lot. I have a copy of it on DVD of the special edition, and I have the VHS copy of it. The transformation, it was so amazing. This movie is funny. It's gory. It's got a little bit of everything that you really like to see in a good werewolf movie, and the take on it's really interesting. But you can't, that scene where he's changing, you can't beat it. It's pretty badass.
Well, we'll keep talking because it is definitely a badass scene. There is no arguing that. Now, before we do our number one, Chuck, why don't we go ahead and give an honorable mention or two?
Yeah.
Personally, I know we were talking about American Werewolf in London. Great transformation scene.
Yes.
Not typically a werewolf movie per se.
Oh wait. I can't wait to hear what you think because I want to. So say it.
But one of my all-time favorite transformation scenes, Trick or Treat.
Oh, the one I was good. Okay, yeah. That's a damn good one too. Yeah, that really was.
I mean, the transformation there of just literally like they're like ripping their fucking skin off. I mean, it's
brutal.
It is, dude. It's awesome. I mean, there's no way to put it any other way. I mean,
and the way they do it in that movie too, because you don't really expect it.
No, well, I mean, it's not a werewolf movie, so you don't even expect the werewolves to begin with.
Right. Yeah. Which I love that movie. I love that movie so much.
I know. Yeah. Me too. But that is my honorable mention. I mean,
well,
I love that one.
If we're gonna talk about honorable mentions and movies that involve werewolves, the one that I was wondering if you were going to say or not, and talking about transformation scenes, one of my favorites of all time, though, when it comes to that, has been the Werewolf in Monster Squad. I think
yes.
I there is something terrifying about how that werewolf looks, because I always thought that he looked like if they made the Wolfman be a little bit more modern or whatever, if they remade it at that time or whatever, because he looked like he looked terrifying, and the way he when he tried to speak, he's gonna kill your son, that shit. and of course, I mean, also you can't something that's never been done in any werewolf movie or anything involving a werewolf I've ever seen is when he gets blown up.
Yeah.
And his body parts come back together in a really pretty awesome scene, because he wasn't killed with silver. And
you're right.
And I've always thought that was really cool because you never see that done anywhere else. So I have to say that. And I also have to mention the movie Wolf with Jack Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer, and James Spader, because that is a good version of the Wolfman, in my opinion.
That is fair.
I just thought that was true.
I also want to throw out there in the Cursed with Christina Ricci. Very
Fun
underrated.
Very
awesome movie though. But those are some of our honorable mentions. But Chuck, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what our number one werewolf movie is? Number one on our list here is my favorite. I love this movie. It gets watched a lot in my house. Is the Stephen King adaptation Silver Bullet, based off of the Stephen King book graphic novel thing that he wrote called Cycle of the Werewolf. Corey Haim, Gary Busey's great in it. Everybody in this movie does a great fucking job. It's top notch. Yes, the werewolf isn't my favorite looking werewolf. Looks more like a bear. To be perfectly honest, it looks more like a bear. But everything that surrounds this, like the scenes that you see the wolf, because you don't really see the wolf when it's killing. It's just more of a first person kind of view or whatever. But everything around it makes this movie great because the movie is creepy in a lot of ways. The way the preacher acts, when you find out whatever. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert if you've never seen this movie. But yeah, I love this movie to death. I've owned this movie like 2 or 3 times because the first copy that I had after I couldn't find it forever and finally got it
At the time, I had a dog named Gypsy, and Gypsy was able to open up my case and chew that disc all to hell.
Oh.
Didn't even get a chance to watch it yet. Pulled it out of the case with her fucking teeth and gnawed that disc up. Damn
it. Well, I mean, what can you do about that, man? Anyways, though, I do 100% agree with everything you said. I like the first person aspect a lot myself. I mean, it's just, as far as werewolf movies, it's the top few are always hard, but I would definitely think, we agree. Silver Bullet's definitely right up there and very much so worth it.
Yeah, the time period on it and everything is just there's something about it I just love. It's just small town being like tormented by a werewolf. There you go.
There you go. So thanks everyone for watching. That is our top 10 werewolf movies. And make sure to check us out over at Tales from the Podcast and 2G1C. Thank you guys.